I am ranking all the iconic bridges in the New York City area. This video is split into 3 parts, with this video covering all of the bridges crossing the Hudson River, Staten Island, and some Long Island bridges. Part 1 covered all bridges crossing the East River. Part 2 covered all bridges crossing the Harlem River, and there might be a part 4 if you want to see it. The ranking is pretty simple, with S tier being one of the best bridges in New York City, and F tier being one of the worst bridges in New York City. I'm grading these bridges on personal opinion, historical significance, overall appearance, and impact to the city. Now that you know how I'm judging these bridges, let's get right into the next 11 bridges in New York City. Starting this video on the north side of the Hudson River is the George Washington Bridge, which is a double-decker suspension bridge connecting Fort Lee, New Jersey to Washington Heights in Manhattan. This bridge opened in 1931 with one level, and the lower level was added and opened in 1962. It carries 14 lanes of Interstate 95 with 8 lanes of traffic on the top level and 6 lanes of traffic on the lower level, which is the most lanes carried by any suspension bridge in the world. The upper level also carries pedestrian and bicycle traffic as well. This bridge was designed by Othmar Ammann, Alston Dana, Assistant Chief Engineer Edward W. Stearns, and architect Cass Gilbert, and was the longest suspension bridge in the world when it opened until the Golden Gate Bridge in 1937. The longest span of this bridge is 3,500 feet or 1,067 meters, with a total bridge length of 4,760 feet or 1,450 meters. This bridge saw 104 million vehicles crossing it in 2019, making it the busiest motor vehicle bridge in the entire world. I am okay with the look of the bridge, although it is not my favorite architectural style. With everything mentioned about this bridge, I would rank this as an S-tier bridge. Moving to the south, and we are back to tunnels with the Lincoln Tunnel that travels under the Hudson River connecting Weehawken, New Jersey to Midtown Manhattan. This tunnel was designed by Ole Singstad and named after Abraham Lincoln. This tunnel consists of 3 tunnels, each with 2 lanes, with the center tunnel allowing directions to change to accommodate traffic flows. The center tube opened to traffic in 1937, the north tube opened in 1945, and the south tube opened in 1957. All the tunnels have different lengths, with the north tunnel having a length of 7,482 feet or 2,281 meters, the center tunnel having a length of 8,216 feet or 2,504 meters, and the south tunnel having a length of 8,006 feet or 2,440 meters. This tunnel saw daily traffic in 2016 of 112,995. With this tunnel not having much historical significance but is a very important route for the city, I would rank this tunnel as a B-tier tunnel. Further to the south is the last tunnel we are covering in this 3-part series, and that is the Holland Tunnel that crosses underneath the Hudson River connecting Hudson Square in Lower Manhattan to Jersey City, New Jersey. This tunnel opened in 1927 and carries 4 lanes of Interstate 78. The tunnel was designed by Clifford Milburn Holland, who the tunnel was named after, with the ventilation system being designed by Ole Singstad. This tunnel contained the world's first mechanically ventilated tunnel and was also the longest continuous underwater tunnel for vehicular traffic in the world when it opened. The chief engineer who designed the tunnel died suddenly in 1924 before the completion of the tunnel. Milton Harvey Freeman took over and died less than a year later. Ole Singstad then oversaw the completion of the tunnel. This tunnel was designated as a National Historic Civil and Mechanical Engineering Landmark in 1982, a U.S. National Historic Landmark, a U.S. National Register of Historic Places, and a New York State Register of Historic Places, all in 1993. The westbound tunnel length is 8,558 feet or 2,609 meters, and the eastbound tunnel length is 8,371 feet or 2,552 meters. This tunnel saw daily traffic in 2016 of 89,792 vehicles. This tunnel has a lot of important history and is an important route for the city, so I think this tunnel belongs as an A-tier tunnel. There's a lot more history associated with this tunnel that I don't have time to cover in this video, so if you're interested, I'd recommend doing some of your own research. That's all there is for the Hudson River, so now we head over to the southwest with the first Staten Island Bridge. This bridge is the Bayonne Bridge that crosses the Kil Van Kull and connects Staten Island to Bayonne, New Jersey. It opened in 1931 as the world's longest steel arch and remains the 6th longest today. This bridge was designed by Othmar Ammann and architect Cass Gilbert and drew inspiration from the Hell Gate Bridge covered in the first part of the series. This bridge carries 4 lanes and a pedestrian path, with the pedestrians having to pay a toll until 1940. The original bridge deck was reconstructed higher to accommodate larger cargo ships. The main span of this bridge is 1,675 feet or 510.5 meters, with a total length of 5,780 feet or 1,762 meters. This bridge surprisingly sees very little traffic, with a daily traffic count in 2016 of 9,025 vehicles, but even with the low usage for the city, I would still rank this as an A-tier bridge due to its historical significance and its beautiful design. Moving to the southwest with the Arthur Kill vertical lift bridge that crosses the Arthur Kill connecting Elizabethport, New Jersey to the Howland Hook Marine Terminal on Staten Island. This is a railroad bridge that contains a single track and was built in 1959 that replaced an earlier swing bridge that was built in 1890. This bridge is the longest lift span in the world with a length of 558 feet or 170 meters. Shortly after this bridge was built, industrial and manufacturing facilities started closing on Staten Island, lessening the usage of this bridge until the last train crossed the bridge in 1990. The New York City Economic Development Corporation purchased the bridge in 1994 and it underwent a rehab project between 2004 and 2006. The bridge reopened to the first train crossing in October of 2006, 16 years after it closed. In 2007, garbage removal services from Staten Island started, which removed 90,000 annual garbage truckloads from the nearby vehicle bridge. To this day, this bridge is mostly used to haul garbage out of New York City and carries some freight to destinations in western Staten Island. Due to this bridge being the longest lift bridge in the world, but its very low usage, I would rank this bridge as a B-tier bridge. Just a little to the south is the Goethal Bridge, which is a pair of cable-stayed bridges crossing the Arthur Kill connecting Elizabeth, New Jersey to Staten Island. These bridges replaced an earlier cantilever truss bridge that opened in 1928. The new eastbound bridge opened in 2017 and the new westbound bridge opened in 2018. The bridge is named after Major General George Washington Goethals, who supervised construction of the Panama Canal. The new bridge towers were restricted in height due to the nearby Newark Liberty International Airport. This bridge carries 6 lanes and 1 sidewalk of Interstate 278 and has a main span length of 672 feet or 205 meters with a total length of 7,109 feet or 2,167 meters. The bridge saw daily traffic in 2016 of 82,852 vehicles. While the bridge is heavily used for traffic, I find the architectural style very ugly with the short towers and doesn't have much historical significance, so I might be a little harsh by saying I'd rank this bridge as a D-tier bridge. Further to the south is the final bridge crossing from Staten Island to New Jersey, and that is the Outerbridge Crossing. This bridge is a steel cantilever bridge crossing the Arthur Kill connecting Perth Amboy, New Jersey to Staten Island. It opened in 1928 and was named after Eugenius Harvey Outerbridge, who was the first chairman of the Port of New York Authority. This bridge is the southernmost crossing in New York State and the most remote bridge in New York City. It was designed by John Alexander Low Waddell and had low traffic counts until the opening of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in 1964. This bridge has a main span length of 750 feet or 229 meters with a total bridge length of 8,800 feet or 2,682 meters. It saw daily traffic in 2016 of 77,107 vehicles. As it currently sits, I'm okay with the look of the bridge, but it's not historically significant, but it is heavily used, so I think currently this bridge belongs as a C-tier bridge. In 2017, the Port Authority announced the funding of a study into a potential replacement of the bridge, which could increase the ranking if a new bridge gets built here. That's it for Staten Island bridges. Let's move over to the east onto Long Island, where I think I'll have a friend who's from Long Island talk about these bridges. This person has 2 channels on YouTube if you want to check her out. The first one is Grottles, which is a gaming channel, and the second one is The Beatles Wings, which is a channel focused on the Beatles. If either one or both of these channels interest you, check out the links in the description and let her know you came from Engineer's Perspective channel. Take it away, Grottles.
Thanks so much for letting me cover this part of your video, Mr. Engineer. This first bridge we're covering is the Pulaski Bridge that crosses the Newton Creek connecting Long Island City in Queens to Greenpoint in Brooklyn. This bridge was named after Polish military commander and American Revolutionary warfighter Kazimierz Pulaski. It was designed by Frederick Zermolin as a 4-leaf bascule bridge which is a type of drawbridge, and it carries 5 lanes of traffic, a dedicated bike lane, as well as a pedestrian sidewalk. This bridge opened in 1954, replacing the nearby Bayonne Avenue Bridge. This bridge has a main span length of 177 feet, or 54 meters, with a total length of 2,810 feet, or 860 meters. This bridge saw daily traffic from 2016 of 40,722 vehicles. Engineer's Perspective ranks this bridge as a B-tier bridge, as he likes the design of this bridge, but it doesn't have much historical significance and isn't heavily traveled. Moving over to the southeast is the Greenpoint Avenue Bridge that crosses over the Newton Creek, connecting Greenport in Brooklyn to Blissville in Queens. This particular bridge opened in 1987, but it's the 6th bridge to cross this location. The first bridge that was built in 1850 was called the Blissville Bridge. It was followed by 3 other bridges before being replaced by the new bridge in 1900. The bridge was replaced in 1929, which had a ton of mechanical problems before being replaced with the current bridge. The current bridge was designed by Hardesty in Hanover with a main span length of 180 feet, or 55 meters. This bridge saw daily traffic from 2016 of 31,622 vehicles. Engineer's Perspective ranks this bridge as a D-tier bridge, as he isn't a fan of this design. The history of the bridge has been plagued with problems, and it isn't a very important bridge for the city. Going further to the southeast is the Kosciuszko Bridge, which is a pair of cable-stayed bridges crossing over the Newton Creek, connecting Greenport in Brooklyn to Maspeth in Queens. This bridge replaced an earlier truss bridge that opened in 1939. The new eastbound bridge opened in 2017, and the new westbound bridge opened in 2019. Carrying 9 lanes of Interstate 278 and a bike lane. The earlier truss bridge was a part of Interstate 278 as well, but it was not up to interstate standards and carried only 6 lanes of traffic, which was heavily congested, as the original design had a capacity of 10,000 vehicles, but ended up carrying 18 times that amount. The new bridge was built due to it deteriorating and being heavily congested. The new eastbound bridge was built beside the old truss bridge to prevent congestion on the local streets. When the new bridge was completed, the old truss bridge was demolished and replaced with a new westbound bridge. The new bridges have a main span length of 300 feet, or 91 meters, with a total length of 6,021 feet, or 1,835 meters. This bridge saw daily traffic from 2021 of 162,581 vehicles. Engineer's Perspective ranks this bridge as an A-tier bridge due to its importance to the city, interesting design, and heavy usage. There's also a lot more history to this bridge that couldn't be covered in this video. Moving way to the south is the Gil Hodges Memorial Bridge, formerly known as the Marine Parkway Bridge. This is a vertical lift bridge that crosses the Rockaway Inlet that's part of the Jamaica Bay in New York City. This bridge opened in 1937 and connects Rockaway Peninsula in Queens with Flatbush Avenue near the Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. It was designed by David B. Steinman with Richard S. M. Lee and Shortridge Hardesty as assistant designers. At the time of the construction, the 540-foot vertical lift span was the longest vertical lift vehicle span in the world, with a total bridge length of 1,500 feet, or 460 meters. The entire bridge, including the approaches, is 4,022 feet, or 1,226 meters, and carries 4 lanes of traffic, a bicycle path, and 1 sidewalk lane. This bridge was renamed in 1978 to the Gil Hodges Memorial Bridge after the championship-winning first baseman for the Brooklyn Dodgers, who later won the World Series as the manager for the New York Mets. It is believed that the bridge is the first bridge to be named after a major sports figure. This bridge saw daily traffic from 2016 of 21,990 vehicles. Engineer's Perspective ranks this bridge as an A-tier bridge, as the bridge has a ton of historical significance, and he is also okay with the architect design of the bridge. Another interesting fact about this bridge is the toll booth camera from this bridge captured a part of the American Airlines Flight 587 crash in 2001. The final bridge for this video is further to the east with the Great South Bay Bridge, originally known as the Captree Bridge. This bridge is twin bridges with through arch spans. It was originally a single through arch span bridge that opened in 1954. The second span opened in 1964 to alleviate traffic congestion. This bridge carries the Robert Moses Causeway over the Great South Bay between Long Island's South Shore and Captree Island in Suffolk County, New York. The main span has a length of 600 feet or 180 meters. With a total bridge length of 10,519.5 feet or 3,206 meters. The bridge saw daily traffic from 2007 of 7,659 vehicles. Engineer's Perspective loves the architect design of the bridge, but acknowledges the very low usage and minimum historical significance, so he ranks this bridge as a C-tier bridge. Unfortunately, this is the last bridge of this video, but if you'd like to hear me talk more about Long Island bridges, please comment below for a fourth part so I can cover more bridges for the Engineer's Perspective.
Stick around to the end of the video for a quick recap of all bridges covered in this 3-part series. Thanks Goethal for helping me out with this video, so check out both of our channels, which are linked in the description below. Just like Goethal said, there are so many bridges in the New York City area that I haven't covered. I could cover bridges in Central Park along the Bronx River, or have Goethal cover more bridges on Long Island that haven't been covered yet, or any bridges that are suggested in the comments. If there's an interest in a 4th part or even a 5th part to the series, I will make them. Let me know in the comments and let me know of some bridges I have not covered in this 3-part series to potentially be added to a future video. Now, let's do a quick recap of the rankings of all the bridges I have covered in the series so far. There are only 2 bridges in the F-tier category that I covered, and those bridges are the Rikers Island Bridge as well as the Spuyten-Duyvil Railroad Bridge. There are 6 bridges that fall to the D-tier category, and those are the Throgs Neck Bridge, Roosevelt Island Bridge, 3rd Avenue Bridge, Harlem River Swing Bridge, Goethal's Bridge, and Greenpoint Avenue Bridge. There are 9 bridges that are middle of the road C-tier category, and those are the Whitestone Bridge, Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, Queens Midtown Tunnel, Ward's Island Bridge, Robert F. Kennedy Bronx Kill Span Bridge, Willis Avenue Bridge, Madison Avenue Bridge, Outerbridge Crossing, and the Great South Bay Bridge. There are 9 bridges that are good bridges in the B-tier category, and those are the Queensboro Bridge, Robert F. Kennedy Queens Span Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, Park Avenue Bridge, University Heights Bridge, Broadway Bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, Arthur Kill Vertical Lift Railroad Bridge, and Pulaski Bridge. There are 10 bridges that are great bridges in the A-tier category, and those are the Brooklyn Bridge, Williamsburg Bridge, Robert F. Kennedy Harlem River Bridge, Macombs Dam Bridge, Alexander Hamilton Bridge, Henry Hudson Bridge, Holland Tunnel, Bayonne Bridge, Kosciuszko Bridge, and the Gil Hodges Memorial Bridge. And finally, there are 5 bridges that I think deserve the highest praise in New York City in the S-tier category. These bridges are the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, Hellgate Bridge, the High Bridge, Washington Bridge, and the George Washington Bridge. What do you think of my rankings? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to let me know if you want a 4th part covering more bridges in New York City. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and make sure you follow the way, the truth, and the life.